Commissioner Wygant,
Present.
Commissioner Kaler,
Present.
Commissioner Crowley,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore.
Present.
Well, it sounds like we're all here and accounted for. Today is Wednesday, October 16th. The time is 9:30, and it's time for our regularly scheduled City Commission meeting. I'd like to welcome those that are in attendance today or tuning in on the various ways that we provide access to this meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation, led by Pastor Fred Martin with the Ottawa Bible Church.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor, would you care to say the blessing?
If you'll bow. Father, thank you for this day, these people who give of their time, their energy, their passion to make our community better, whether they're elected, appointed, workers, or volunteers. We know that when we do these things, we are your hands and feet. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wendy, for pinch hitting there. We will move on to our consent agenda, which includes the minutes from August 26th, study session, September 4th, regular meeting, September 9th, study session, September 16th, study session, and the September 18th regular meeting, as well as approval of our agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner.
I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded as such. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That moves us on to our regular agenda. Do we have any public comments?
No one's registered.
Okay, I'll dispense with reading the paragraph there and move on to declaration. At this time, I'd like to give the commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication that they've had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner.
I have a personal and business connection with item 18 on our agenda, so at that time I will abstain from vote.
Okay, thank you. Is there any others? Duly noted, Commissioner Crowley, thank you. We'll move on then to new business, item 10.
Public hearing for 2019 budget amendments.
This public hearing has been called to consider amending the 2019 budget for the Economic Development Fund. And we have our Community Development Director, Wendy Lee, to talk about this item. First, I will open the public hearing. Would you like to speak on this?
Yes, Mayor, I would. This budget amendments come about through a variety of things. Initially, we knew back at the beginning of the year we were going to need to do a budget amendment because unfortunately the budget that we presented to you last year wasn't what was actually published, so it wasn't one that we could that accounted for what we had indicated to you would happen in 2019. However, we also had a couple of other things happen this year, most of which were really fortunate things, but those worked out to really require their amendment. No matter what, we would have had an amendment this time of year. So we have additional revenue, significantly higher revenue that we have in this fund, as well as some expenses related to those revenue items that we need to account for. One of the most significant was the Moderate Income Housing Grant Award. That's $400,000. So we received the funds, but we really were a pass-through for the Prairie View development on that. So we also expended that $400,000. In addition to that, we had some items related to the Halloran project, the Monoflow project, Legacy Square, and we also had, if you recall, not too long ago, we did some impact fee adjustments. We prepared for those, and so we needed to account for the revenue in again, as well as the potential rebate back out. And so happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Lee? Any questions or comments from those in attendance? And I'll ask a total of 3 times on this item. Any comments? Last call for public comments. This time I'll close the public hearing, and we will move on to item 11.
Acceptance of 2019 budget amendments.
This is the acceptance of budget amendments to the Economic Development Fund, which we just heard about. Is there any discussion? Or do I hear a motion?
I will move that we adopt the recommended budget adjustment.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded as such. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Kaler?
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wygant?
Yes.
Mayor Jorgensen?
And I vote yes. Motion carries. That moves us on to item 12.
Proclamation recognizing October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month focuses attention on victims of domestic violence and their children and promotes the support of shelters and community programs that serve them. Taylor Jones, the Director of Community Services for Willow Domestic Violence Center, will accept the proclamation, which will be read by Commissioner Skidmore.
Yeah, right here. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas, family and relationships are often counted among life's greatest blessings. And tragically, many Kansas relationships are tarnished by violence and fear. And whereas domestic violence includes verbal, emotional, economic, sexual, and physical abuse, and all forms of abuse can carry long-range physical and mental health implications. And whereas the effects of domestic violence reach far beyond its victims and perpetrators, causing disruption in our schools, places of work and worship, and neighborhoods. And whereas during October 2019, law enforcement advocates, other concerned agencies and groups in Franklin County sponsor and promote Domestic Violence Awareness Month to focus community-wide attention on abuse victims and their children and to promote support of shelters and community programs that serve them. Now, therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim October 2019 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urges all its citizens to speak out against sexual and domestic violence, to provide support for survivors of this heinous crime, to encourage community leaders to hold offenders accountable, and to make prevention efforts a priority by hosting events, by creating policies at school and work, and by supporting and participating in ongoing programs designed to reduce and eventually eliminate domestic violence as a societal problem. Signed the 16th day of October 2019 by our Mayor, Blake Jorgensen.
Taylor, would you like to come up and accept this award? Or the proclamation, I'm sorry. We have to smile for the camera here. Hey, you bet. But, Taylor, would you like to say a few words? Or?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
On behalf of the Willow Domestic Violence Center, we just want to extend our gratitude for our involvement with the City of Ottawa. We have been housed here for close to a decade, and we just appreciate the space and the participation from the city. For those who may not know of the services that we extend, we are usually known for our emergency shelter that is located in Lawrence, Kansas, but we also have a bunch of other services that we offer. We do have court advocacy for survivors that may be filling out any sort of protection order from abuse, stalking, human trafficking, or sexual assault. And we also are working really closely with DCF, serving survivors who are either receiving cash assistance, food assistance, or utilizing their child care. We are also currently having office hours at Ottawa University, so that we're still extending that sort of education and prevention piece on campus, because it is a little community in its own, and we want to make sure that everyone's aware of us and can get to us. We are very fortunate to have 2 full-time staff that are housed out here in Ottawa, and then they even have backup, which is our 24-hour hotline. So if there's ever a piece of a part in time where people are not able to get to them, we surely want people to know that an advocate is available to folks out here at any point in time. Coming up to honor Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we have a lot going on. A lot of it will be held in Lawrence, Kansas. We're pretty much taking over the Lawrence Art Center for some concerts and a screening of the documentary Behind Closed Doors, but actually out in Ottawa we'll be doing a couple of things as well, a lot of which will be taking place next week, many of which is actually on campus. A couple of things may be open to the public if anyone is interested, making pledges to our banner and other items like that. Also, if you are a coffee or muffin person and you like mugshot coffee, they will actually be holding donations and drives for us all of next week, so please feel free to stop by there. And again, we just wanted to extend our gratitude for our involvement with the city, and so thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for coming and accepting the proclamation, so thank you, and for the work that you do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to item 13.
Proclamation recognizing October 2019 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is a partnership of national public service organizations, professional medical associations, and government agencies working together to promote breast cancer awareness, share information on the disease, and provide greater access to screening services. Karen McElvain with the Franklin County Cancer Foundation will accept the proclamation, which reads as follows. Whereas October is recognized nationally as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas breast cancer is the second most common form of cancer and the second leading cause of deaths among women in the United States, and whereas Franklin County has an active women's cancer support group, and whereas treatment for breast cancer is more likely to be successful when detected early, and the Franklin County Breast Cancer Support Group strives to raise awareness about women getting early exams. Now therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim October 2019 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and urges all women and their families in Ottawa to get the facts about breast cancer. Signed the 16th day of October 2019 by the Mayor. Karen, would you like to come forward and accept the proclamation? Say a few words.
I really don't know where to start, but we have been in existence 21 years, and we had someone tell us that we wouldn't be in business very long, and we couldn't raise over $500. And when we had done this for 20 years, we're just a little shy of $1 million. Without the help of all of you people, we couldn't do it. But hang in there, we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Mayor, if you'll let me just add on. As a survivor, I know that there are people in the community maybe struggling with this or who have a family member that don't know that we have a local Franklin County Cancer Foundation group. And so Karen represents that group today. And I also would call attention, and I don't know how they're doing with the cameras back there, but a number of staff, today is our Pink Out Day, and so a number of staff are a little bit dressed down. Both fire and police also have awareness activities for cancer with special hats. I can see the police department hat is back there. And so we would actually encourage any employer to consider having a Pink Out Day, simply because it is an opportunity to bring more awareness to breast cancer needs for proactive behavior among the women, as well as great support by the families. So we just want to add that too.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to item 14, please.
Proclamation recognizing October as Community Planning Month.
Community Planning Month is an opportunity to publicly recognize the dedication of Planning Commission members, as well as highlight the importance of sound planning and plan implementation. Kimber Korn, with the Planning Commission Chairman, will accept the proclamation. And I'm sorry, Kimber is the Planning Commission Chairman. And that will be read by Commissioner Crowley.
And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for residents to be equally involved in making choices that determine the shared vision of their neighborhoods. And whereas the full benefits of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas we celebrate the community project illustrating good planning, Legacy Square, and whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories, and whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation make to the quality of our neighborhoods and environment. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the city of Ottawa. Stephen Bradley, Kimber Korn, Danielle Dodson, Cal Lantis, Karen Walburn, Regis Winyika, and Brandon Wilcox. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community planners of the City of Ottawa, Wendy Lee, Sarah Anzacek, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to the public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim October 2019 as Community Planning Month in the City of Ottawa in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. Signed this 16th day of October 2019 by the Mayor, Blake Jorgensen.
You'd like to say a few words?
Yeah, thank
You bet.
Mr. Mayor and the City Planning Commission, thank you very much for the honor, but also thank you for the opportunity to help make Ottawa and the county of Franklin County, Kansas, a better place for citizens to live. To be able to stand up and participate in and have a voice in what our community looks like, and to improve our surrounding community, to make it a place that people want to live and visit. We have been accomplishing a lot, we believe, and we feel like that the work that we do is important because we feel like that the citizens of Ottawa and of Franklin County have very much the right to be involved, and we appreciate this being recognized and being supported by all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kimber. And some of you may remember that I started my public service career on the Planning Commission, so I do know the importance of and the job that you do. It is a big job, and it takes quite a bit of time out of your week or month to serve in that capacity. So congratulations on the job that you do, and thank you very much. Let's move on to item 15.
Proclamation recognizing October 20 through 26, 2019 as Ottawa Business Women's Week.
This proclamation recognizes the achievements and contributions of working women in Ottawa. Christina Rush, President of the Kansas Business and Professionals Women, will accept the proclamation to be read by Commissioner Kaler.
And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas working women constitute 68 million of the nation's workforce and strive to serve their communities, their states, their nation, and a professional, civic, and cultural capacities. And whereas women-owned businesses account for 28% of all U.S. businesses, generating $1.2 trillion in sales. And whereas the major goals of the Kansas Business and Professional Women are to promote equality for all women and to help create better conditions for working women through the study of social, educational, economical, and political problems. And whereas since 1928, Kansas Business and Professional Women have been spotlighting the achievements and contributions of working women during Kansas Business Women's Week. And whereas the week of October 20th through 26th has been designated by the Kansas Business and Professional Women as National Business Women's Week. Now therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim the week of October 20th through 26th 2019 as Ottawa Business Women's Week. And we urge all citizens to actively support working women and their contributions they bring to our community. Signed this the 16th day of October 2019 by our Mayor Blake Jorgensen.
And let me kill my phone here.
And work calls.
Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Christina, would you like to come forward and accept this proclamation? Would you like to say a few words?
Good morning. I just want to say thank you again for recognizing us as a group. And Ottawa Business and Professional Women are glad to say that we actually are celebrating this year our 100th birthday as a state organization. Kansas Federation was actually founded in Hutchinson in 1919. So we may be old, but we are still very young and in our thoughts and in what we like to do. Ottawa BPW was founded January 17th of 1922. So we as a local have been here, and a lot of people don't know that we are still very active in our community. 100% of all of our members are also members of our foundation, and not very many organizations can say that 100% of your members are also that. And there are currently 10 local organizations throughout the state of Kansas that make up our group. So, like you said, our mission is to achieve equality for all women in the workplace through advocacy, education, and information. And our monthly meetings are the third Tuesday of every month at 6:30 in the evening, and we focus on an educational program every month, focusing in on networking, leadership skills, and also what community resources we have available. So if there is anybody out there who is a leader in your organization that would like to come and talk to us and educate us, we would love to have you. And you can contact me specifically, and I will get you on our agenda as well. And our meetings usually last an hour and a half, and you can speak any first portion of that, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, letting us know, because we love to take on little projects as well. And help out our community in any way that we can as a small local.
Yep.
So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Let's move on to item 16.
Proclamation recognizing October 2019 as Public Power Month.
Public Power Month is an opportunity to highlight the vital role public-owned power generation has played in the community for the last 100 years. Utilities Director Dennis Tharp will receive the proclamation, which will be read by Commissioner Wygant.
And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the Ottawa community has been providing reliable public power for more than 100 years. Whereas 2011 public power utilities provide electricity to 49 million people in 49 states and 5 U.S. territories, so that 1 in 7 customers are served by public power. Whereas public power entities range from less than 4,000 customers to more than 100,000 customers. Whereas 2/3 of public power utilities are served by public-owned generation, with only 1/3 bought from investor-owned utilities and cooperative utilities. Whereas public power on average is the lowest cost in the U.S. compared to investor-owned utilities and cooperative utilities. Whereas public power is a powerful economic engine, employing 93,000 people and creating an annual revenue of $58 billion across the nation. Whereas public power has and will continue to play a vital role in stabilization and economic development of this community. Now, therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim the month of October 2019 to be Public Power Month. in Ottawa, Kansas, and urges all residents to support and learn more about their local power provider. Signed this 16th day of October 2019 by the Mayor, Blake Jorgensen.
Dennis, would you like to come forward and accept the proclamation? There we go.
Thank you, Commissioners, for taking the time this morning to recognize public power. I like to take these opportunities not only to recognize public power, but to recognize our utility as a whole. We get these, a couple times a year, or whatever it may be, and so what I would do is I would urge our citizens to become knowledgeable, to spend some time and understand, why we do public power, why we do all of our utilities, and for them to gain more knowledge as to their role in that. This is a community thing. This is not something that we do for us. It's something that we do for the community. And so this is a point in time where I would urge our citizens to recognize we have a lot of information on an ongoing basis that we put out on our website, that we put out on social media, and it seems that the farther we get away from the origins of the things that we continue to do, and as Commissioner Wygon read in the proclamation, that it's been 100 years. It's been more than 100 years since public power started in this community. And it's easy for generations to forget what that means. So I believe it's good for us to bring it to the forefront and for people to recognize what is taking place at that point. What I would like to do in conjunction with this is, first of all, you all hear me say it on an ongoing basis, we have a tremendous group of employees that get the things done that it takes. Our reliability related to public power, our ability to react to emergencies, our ability to have control of costs is second to none. And those kinds of things are why we do what we do. Along with that, we have some employees that take special efforts, that make special efforts to receive training, to get the things and gain the knowledge that they need to become better and stay current on what's taking place in the industry. So I would like to recognize a couple of employees this morning that have achieved some fairly distinctive certifications. And I'm going to start by saying that both of these certifications have been achieved by Rocky Evans. I normally wouldn't bring up their name if they weren't here, but Rocky is actually working on another training today at leadership training in McPherson. And so I wanted to bring up the fact that he has actually achieved both of these certifications. I'm going to start with the KMU Power Plant program that we instituted. It's been, I believe, about 3 years ago. And some of our power plant employees have worked their way through that certification program. It is an extensive program. It is a program that takes many hours. It covers a range of topics from the history of municipal generation and power to an understanding of fossil fuels, an understanding of basic physics, chemicals, renewable generation. It goes on and on. And so I think it's important as we recognize people when they achieve this that we let not only our commissioners know, but our community know that we are moving forward. So the one that most recently has achieved that is Brian Demaret. Congratulations, Brian. Thanks. And I'm going to let you get a picture, wherever the picture guy went. The mayor went by.
Congratulations, Brian. job.
Thank you, Brian. Second, I would like to recognize Sam Hughes. He is our maintenance guy. He does a lot of work related to keeping the power plant up and running and things going. But most recently, Sam has put forth the effort to achieve a certification in substation maintenance. Substation maintenance is something that we have always contracted. You know, it's something that we have always looked to others to take care of for us. We're at a point in time now where with these certifications, I can't stand here and tell you we can do everything. It's a very complicated process, but there are many things related to distribution and switching and relay protection, meters. There's a number of things that these folks are now able to do that we don't have to contract. And we continue to move in that direction. So I think it's important as we achieve these certifications that not only you all, but everyone knows that, you know, we are moving forward and we are doing the training that's necessary to keep us going. So, Sam, congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, thank you, bud. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, gentlemen, for continuing your education. I know that's not something that you have to do, but we generally appreciate the work that you do at your respective jobs. We'll move on to item 17.
Request for approval of resolution accepting public improvements for Westwood 3 Addition Phase 3.
This resolution accepts the public improvements associated with all public streets, storm drainage system, sanitary sewer system, water lines, and electrical located in the Westwood 3 addition. And we have our Community Development Director, Wendy Lee, to talk on this item.
So Westwood 3, many people have probably been by this, is a cul-de-sac, 12 lots. A lot of the infrastructure has been in for some time, but they finally were able to finish the remaining items, including signage and other things, so that the city, from here on out, will be responsible for maintenance of those items. They do have a few sidewalks that they have yet to construct, but we have a bond for that, so we're protected there. But this has been a good project, and people are already living in a few homes, so we're excited to present to you the acceptance of the public improvements.
Any questions for Ms. Lee? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kaler.
I move that we approve the resolution accepting the public improvements for Westwood 3.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded as such. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed to vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Wygand?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaler?
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Mayor Jorgensen?
And I vote yes, motion carries. Let's move on to item 18.
Recommendation by Neighborhood Revitalization Committee to add 2 commercial and 17 residential properties to the program.
The properties recommended are located at the following addresses. All properties are within the established Neighborhood Revitalization District. And the residential properties are 827 South Ash, 616 South Locust, 618 East Logan, 1141 South Main, 803 North Mulberry, 436 South Poplar, 901 North Poplar, 824 South Tremont, 126 South Willow, 323 East 5th, 623 West 5th, 310 West 6th, 404 West 9th, 534 South Locust, 615 East Logan, 616 North Main, and 415 South Oak. It's really a joy to see this many properties in this program. And the 2 commercial properties are 120 West 2nd and 401 South Main. And our Community Development Director, Ms. Lee, will talk about these items.
I think staff agrees. It's great to see this many projects. I will tell you that I had a visit with a contractor, I think, following my presentation to you at study session, and they wanted to convey that if it were not for neighborhood revitalization, they would not be doing their projects because they wouldn't have invested in some of those areas. So it's definitely a successful program. Just for the public's benefit, the remodel projects receive a rebate of 95% for 5 years. The new construction projects receive 95% for 10 years. The commercial projects, the one that's the upstairs apartments, which is the 120 West 2nd, so again, additional housing, 95% for 5 years. And then 401 South Main has 5 years at 100%, and then it declines over the remaining 5 years per our original program.
Okay. This program is, I think, this is the most that I remember seeing for the neighborhood revitalization program, and this is precisely what we had hoped would happen to occur. So, do we have any questions for Ms. Lee?
I just want to say, too, I echo the mayor's comments. It's a wonderful program, and it really is a win-win. When I look at these properties are improved immediately, so the community gets to enjoy improved properties right away, and then the deferred taxes on the increased value will come later for the city to benefit from. So I think there's so many ways, so many good things about this. I really like the program. And with that said, I'll make the motion we approve item number 18.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I do want to note that I sit on this particular committee for neighborhood revitalization, and it is indeed the largest packet of locations and residents that I have seen in the time that I have sat on this particular committee. It is exciting. I agree with everybody's thoughts.
The good thing about this is we're not giving up any tax proceeds, deferring them because the value that's on the tax rolls continues to be taxed at the level it was prior to the development. So it's deferring the increased value, as Mr. Skidmore alluded to, and it's a good incentive for a property owner or for an added perk for a new construction for a buyer to do so.
So certainly, if anybody is listening, they can certainly call the Community Development Department and ask and inquire about this particular program.
Most definitely. So.
And it is a rebate program. They have to pay their taxes in full before they get the increase back. So
right.
I think that's a good part of it. But it is encouraging that the word is out and more people seem to be taking advantage of it all the time. So, and it's good to see the 2 commercial properties on there.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed to vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Wygant?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaler?
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley?
Abstain?
Mayor Jorgensen?
And I vote yes, motion carries. That moves us on to item 19, which is a report by the city manager, and Wendy Lee is pinch hitting for him today because he had another commitment. So do you have anything this morning?
He didn't share anything, and I don't. No, thank
Okay.
you.
We'll move on then to reports by city commissioners. I'll start on my right with Commissioner Crowley,
I have none.
Commissioner Kaler,
None at this time.
Commissioner Wygant,
I don't have any.
Commissioner Skidmore.
I have nothing.
Okay, well then we'll move on to item 21, which is reports by the mayor, and I also have nothing further to add to this meeting other than the announcements. Today is our joint meeting day with County USD 290, and that will be at 12 o'clock at the county annex. This will be the last joint meeting for the year due to the holidays. And then our next study session will occur on October 21st. Is there anything else that should come before this meeting today? Hearing none, I'll call the meeting adjourned.